Up till now, you've only seen one side of the walled city of Lahore. But now, we're about to show you the other side. It has been well documented in the media of how the country Pakistan has recently faced a horde of issues sprouting back to its separation from India in 1947. In the midst of all these overarching concerns, we sought to retrace the roots that once bloomed the flowers of this great nation. Lahore, one of Pakistan's most populous cities, has often been lauded as a centerpiece of the Mughal reign in Central Asia. However, anyone familiar with the city will know that much has changed in both custom and culture from the early times of the lavish emperors. What remains now is only an ode to the bygone days. Upon our entry into Bharti Gate, at first sight the area did give off some traditional vibes. It seemed to exude an edge of nostalgia. It was throbbing with activity, and the residents there mainly belonged to the working class. Their drab, disheveled dresses marked a noticeable difference from the days of the festive culture. We then made our way through the cluster of bazaars to a certain Halwahi. He described the individuals of Old Lahore to be joyous, loving people.
हम जनाब यहाँ कोई 100 साल से यहाँ पर हूँ। जब की उम्र है मेरी 2 कट, एक कम 60 की उम्र है, वो यहाँ पर ही। हमें ये माशरे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, अपने माशरे में दोस्त हैं। यहाँ लोगों का अखलाक बहुत अच्छा है, ये प्यार है यहाँ पर। आपने एक दूसरे की खबर पूछते हैं।
But as time progressed and we ventured deeper into the walled city, we found his words to be laden with irony. As we went further into the walled city, we were greeted with the acrid stench of a stream of sewage passing beneath the shops and houses. The dark bylanes stretched on for miles and miles, with a majority being cramped with an extension of shops, where we also came across young, shirtless children forced into a life of hard labour. It was now evident that the novelties of the 1900s were long gone. Amidst all this, one cultural aspect that was a mainstay was the food. The visual presentation was on another level, with the aesthetic flair with which the tandoori whipped the piece of baked bread before hoisting it onto the stove. Customers flocked to these food vendors. The congestion of the walled city was impalpable, and given the large-scale expansion of Lahore, many of the landmarks of the area had undergone a great deal of change, and instead of relying on our instinct to guide our way through the next gate, we opted to hitch a chingchi rickshaw. As we made our way, we couldn't help notice how the air was dense with a thick clouded layer of pollution. The murky-looking faces, drooped eyebrows, and overall aura of sadness was a difficult sight to witness. On the footpaths, citizens drained from every angle that the eye can see. Even our rickshaw driver was stopped by traffic police wardens around 4 minutes into the journey, since he didn't bother to put up a license plate on his vehicle. It's often been alleged that the stronghold of the law isn't very tight in that area, with allegations often launched at the police given how well known the issues of crime and prostitution are in this area, yet with nothing being done to end it. The place was infested with drug addicts. Hypodermic needles will go around in circles, and we spotted a man injecting a syringe into his vein before the blood began to slowly drip out and leave small splatter stains of blood on the dusty floor beneath. The metro bridge was housing the wretched of society, all those living in a world of their own imagination. And upon descending the bridge, the plot thickened. We were stormed by several pedestrians who, upon noticing our camera equipment, rushed at the chance of venting their deep-seated sorrows and frustrations. Although we questioned them about Old Lahore, they could not stop mentioning the pathetic state of affairs in relation to the inflation.
महंगाई इतनी हो गई है कि जहां बिल गैस के आधे आते थे वहाँ 3 गुना ज़्यादा हो चुके हैं। अब ये लोग जो है ये कहते हैं कि हम जिएं या मरें। इस तब्दीली से हम बहुत ज़्यादा तंग हैं। जिन लोगों ने ये तब्दीली लाई है हम उन्हें हाथ जोड़ते हैं, कई लोगों के ऊपर रहम करें, इनके लिए रोज़गार मुहैया करें, सरकार को मिले।
We then met a hookah salesman who also shared his thoughts on the way of life of Old Lahore.
वो दौर है ना ही वो हर बंदा रोने पे लगा हुआ है और हर बंदा रोज़गार की तलाश में है।
Others could be seen retiring to their privacy and solitude of their own abodes. However, it was questionable as to how private or peaceful it would be, given how closely structured buildings in the Walled City were. Hira Mandi is known as the red light district of Lahore. This place was seeping with disdain. There was a very visible lack of human presence. A couple of steps forward and our camera crew was stopped by a man. He attempted to blackmail us for crossing this part of the territory. He then whipped out a small rusted razor blade from his pocket and sliced his own wrist. The blood flowed like a demonic red fountain from his wrist and dripped onto the floor until it became nothing but slow oozing motion. This incident broke our whole flow. It left us with a mixture of anxiety and confusion. We were forced to take a break. As the sun began to set, we made our way to the masjid of Wazir Khan, with its collection of calligraphy as scintillating as ever. Beyond that, there were bazaars, and more bazaars. It was sad to see how this historic site has been so unsystematically commercialized. As we made our way out, we felt like emancipated prisoners. The euphoria and enthusiasm had vanished into the pages of history. Glittering lights of Food Street were also pleasant, and the food there didn't disappoint either, although it was merely a small consolation given the large distaste that we already had in our mouths after this whole experience.
कुछ समझ में नहीं आता कि ये चक्कर क्या है, खेल क्या तुमने अज़ल से ये रचा रखा है।